listening to the Maddox Podcast, hosted by the Maddox Real Estate Team, Jason Maddox, Jamie Abitia, and Katrina Pryor, presented by Painless Podcast. To learn more about our services, check out our website at maddoxrealestate.com. There's a reason that the Maddox Real Estate Team has our office in Pinole. It's because it's our home. We grew up here and we established our lives here. And on today's episode, we will share our experiences of what growing up in Pinole area was like for us and why this community is so great to be a part of.
Hey, thank you.
That was a very big breath, right? Into the microphone.
You. Sorry. Well, thank you for joining us today. Jamie, what do you love most about living in Pinole right now?
Oh man, so a little history. I was born and raised in Pinole. I still live here. I purchased my own house here. I will probably never leave, but Pinole is it's something that is truly special, and I think it really takes somebody experiencing it for themselves to know why it's so special. And even being from Pinole, everybody kind of has their own reason that it's special to them. Personally, I went to St. Joseph's School as a kid, so I grew up in kind of the Catholic school setting, and then when I went off to high school, I went out of town, so my Pinole experiences are very different, but I think becoming an adult is when I really learned why I love Pinole and why I probably will never leave.
And really appreciated it.
And really found out why I appreciated it. It's a little bit like Pinole is kind of like Cheers, but as a city, right? You go, it's where everybody literally just knows your name. You can walk in anywhere, wherever you go. You can go to East Bay Coffee and you know everybody. You can go to Paris Street Bistro, which is just down the street. You can go just even to the local stores. You have everything at your fingertips. Antlers.
Oh my gosh, I have so many stories.
Do you?
Well, I mean, and I've lived here since high school, and I think I've been Antlers one time. That's the crazy part.
I might have
all my
siblings, own wine glass.
My siblings all have beer mugs there, but wine glasses.
Yeah, I might have my own wine glass at Antlers, but to each their own. I think that's just why I love Pinole so much, because it's that small town vibe, and it's just something you really can't help but love. Yeah. I really do love it here.
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience. You weren't born in Pinole, but you lived here for a long time and you continue to work here.
Right. So I was born in Berkeley, went to Albany schools, then moved to San Pablo, and then moved to Pinole to go to high school. And I've loved
No, you were in junior high.
Well, I went to Crespi in junior high.
Oh, okay. So you were in San Pablo then?
I didn't go to Pinole Middle School. But when we got to high school, that's right, because you went to Crespi. How come you went to Crespi, not Pinole Middle School?
I guess where my mom's house is, I was assigned to Crespi. So that's
funny.
where we met.
Yeah, we met in algebra, Miss Santos's algebra class in 7th grade. And I never forget Katrina sitting in front of me and throwing the homework behind her back and landing on my desk and the papers going flying. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be great for the next year. But anyway, look where we are now.
There we are.
But anyway, so yeah, I went to Pinole. We moved to Pinole when I went to high school here, and it was a lot smaller. I mean, the whole Appian Way wasn't even, or Fitzgerald Drive wasn't even constructed. That was all just fields, and it was a completely different place, very small. Talk about small community. Wow. It was a really fun place to live. I remember just going to high school. We had Zips restaurant. Remember Zips?
Oh my gosh. The classes that I would skip to go to Zips.
I think you cut second period the entire year, right?
Well, that was brunch.
Oh, that was brunch.
That was brunch time at Zips.
Oh my God. And then we would go to Zips at like 1-2 in the morning with our crew to study for a test the next day. That we would fail.
Zips is now a paint store.
Yeah, then it turned into the Waffle House.
Sherman. Oh, and so it went from like Zips to Vips to the Waffle House to Sherman Williams.
No, it's a paint store.
Yeah,
it's a paint store. But oh man, the memories. I mean, it was so much fun. I mean, we'd go there and sit in the booths and watch the news back then and have it was like a slice. It was the pie that they had. I don't know, but we'd have the pie with the coffee and study for a test that we were going to fail the next day. I mean, it was It was incredible. We had so much fun just being together again, being with friends and the experience of that. But, and this downtown, when I was younger, I don't remember this downtown as much. I don't think they had it. It wasn't as developed as it is now. I know Antlers has always been there, but I never went to Antlers when I was younger or even as an adult, really. But, my siblings have, and apparently it's pretty amazing. So
Antlers, just for the record, it's a great place, but it is what you make it. You have to really go there with a good group of friends and, play whatever music you want on the jukebox and just kind of have your own type of fun.
Well, and for people who don't know, Antlers is kind of the local watering hole. It's just the local bar.
It's been there forever. It looks
That's what's fun about it.
That's what's fun about it. It's very Cheers. That is 100% Cheers. It looks the exact same as I imagined it did on day one. But it's just so fun. You just kind of go and have a drink. It's not too expensive. In a normal world, right, pre-COVID, you could go and have the DJ there on a Friday night or live bands. They're really big into their live bands. You get to know the bartenders. There's Mississippi, who moved away now, but Dave, that was Dave.
Do they have pool tables there?
Rich, there's a pool table. Again,
cool.
This is all pre-COVID, so things have changed a little bit, but they're adapting pretty well, I will say. They opened up an outdoor area for a while. Now that we're kind of moving back into indoor seating, they, have their social distancing in place and kind of the norm of like restaurants and such, but it's just fun. It can be whatever you want it to be, kind of like Paris Street, right? Paris Street's right down the road, and Paris Street can be whatever you want it to be. I have been there right after I leave the gym when I need like a quick pick-me-up, meet some friends there, or you can get dressed up and have a wonderful date night there and go there with family on your birthday and have it be like a really nice family dinner environment. Go there to watch a sports game, when the Warriors were in the playoffs.
And the drinks are fantastic. I am a huge fan of martinis and extra dirty martini. And I think Paris Street, honestly, I think they're one of the best martinis I've ever had. So
and you're kind of a martini snob.
I'm a martini snob, and they have, because they have the ice crystals on top. For the first few sips or so, that's your best martini, and so the ice crystals lay on top, and it makes for a really great experience, at least for me. So
No, they're
but
good.
it's fantastic.
If you're looking for a good breakfast spot, we have Tina's Place, which is right here, and that's just downtown Old Town Pinole, right? Pinole is actually a lot larger than I think a lot of people realize.
Right.
It spans over a few freeway exits. So if you're looking just for kind of convenience, I think that's one of the main things that makes Pinole such an ideal community is just the convenience factor.
Yep.
You're not far from anything. So if you want to go to the city, San Francisco is a 20-30 minute drive to your destination. Of course, no traffic, if you're not in commute hours. If you want to go to Napa, you're 20 or 30 minutes away from Napa. You can really go anywhere. You're not far. You're centrally located.
Walnut Creek, you hop on Highway 4, you're over there. You're in Napa in 20, 30, 40 minutes. You're in San Francisco in 30 minutes. You're 20 minutes.
So central.
It's so central. The location. And that's the thing. It's the best kept secret because people don't realize that Pinole's here. And I get often, they're like, people will call me and they'll go, so what is Pinole?
Yeah.
Why? What? And of course we live here, so we take it for granted. Like we think everybody knows about it, but people really don't. And that's the crazy part.
And I think even more now in this market, Pinole is kind of one of the last affordable stops that is still commutable, right? So we have a lot of people that commute to the city, but who can afford a shoebox in the city for $2 million, right? So you have to kind of find what's your next best place to go price-wise. And I think Pinole is pretty much I would say, one of your last stops, in addition to Hercules, without having to cross another bridge. Right. Then you're having to cross a bridge, then you have, added commute time, tolls, all of that. But it really is one of our best kept secrets. And as much as I would love for it to stay that way, I think it's also really beautiful how many people are discovering it and how it's kind of changing. And,
there's a
and
lot
growing.
of young families. A lot of young families are coming here, which is
A lot
really
of young
cool.
families, yeah.
And not just Pinole, but Hercules. I mean, just our next door neighbor in Hercules. I live in Hercules. I was born and raised in Pinole. But Hercules has that great transit center now.
Yeah.
Where you can just jump on a bus and go right into downtown San Francisco, just a straight through. There's also a bus that takes you right to the BART station at Del Norte. So I do have a lot of friends/clients that are coming from South Salito and San Francisco and Oakland saying, tell me about this spot. Like, tell me about Hercules. And it's just great to be able to give them, from my perspective, somebody who's lived here my entire life, how close and easy and effective it is. Jason and I worked at the San Francisco stock market for many years, and we both commuted from Pinole, Hercules.
12 years commute.
You jump on BART, and now it's even easier because you don't have to drive to Del Norte. There's literally a bus and you can work while you're on the bus from the Hercules Transit Center.
Yeah.
Takes you right to BART, takes you right to San Francisco.
Yeah,
I know.
Great.
So Katrina, sorry, go ahead.
No, I call Pinole and Hercules sister cities because
That's true.
if you're living one, you're always utilizing the features of the other. Pinole is very convenient. You have pretty much everything at your fingertips. We have all of the major stores, the Targets, the TJ Maxx, and Ulta. You're not far from anything. Hercules is building a beautiful new Safeway. They have a lot of things down by the water, which are quite beautiful. But you really get both of them by living in just one. You're a couple minutes from the other.
It's literally a couple minutes from each other. Yeah.
Right.
Katrina, what? Tell us about some of your childhood memories living in Pinole.
Goodness. Well, I mean, I was in Pinole my entire life, which was only 23 years ago. And I lived over by Ellerhorst. So it's crazy that my kids are now going to Ellerhorst. And I have memories of as a child just walking from my mom's house, because back then we were latchkey kids, right? You were kind of left, not that was neglect or anything, but you were kind of left in the house at third grade, and you walk to school and walk back home. And I was only 2 blocks from Ellerhorst, and my kids now are going to Ellerhorst. So just kind of connecting those memories, it makes it really special for me. But there was right across the street, there's now a big soccer field there. Back then, it was a horse field. And so as a child, I remember walking down the street, and my parents didn't care. I mean, they did care, but I would walk down the street.
Back in the day with horses and buggies.
Right.
Horses and buggies when parents didn't care. I would just walk there and have, carrots or whatever, and I would feed the horses because people would rent that space out to leave their horses there. Back when I was a kid, you would see horses walking up and down Pinole Valley Road. Yeah. It was really like a rural area, actually, and what I call the back roads from Pinole going into Orinda. Mm-hmm. And again, Pinole from Orinda is only 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah. And you get on the Orinda BART. I used to do that too and go into San Francisco.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of horses here. My sister had friends that had horses, and they would literally walk up and down with their horse, riding their horses up and down Pinole Valley Road.
That's crazy.
There was the library there. There was the high school, of course. 7-Eleven, kind of the main staples. But right now we're Trader Joe's. Where Trader Joe's is. My sister worked at. I'm trying to remember, like Straw Hut Pizza was back there back in the day.
I remember.
And I used to walk to Straw Hut Pizza where my sister would make pizza at like 16 years old. There was a place called Sandpiper. Just all in that area. I have so many memories of going to the Sandpiper and trying to sneak pictures of Duran Duran out of there, and kind of steal them, put them in my back pocket from the magazines. And it was, like a candy shop, and it was just kind of the place to go. But then, of course, then that area just exploded. I mean, Pinole and Hercules, I remember driving past Hercules as it was being built. I remember conversations that my parents would have like, wow, they're building so quick there. It was all fields. Yeah. Where Kmart and Lucky is, Fitzgerald Drive was just a field. Kmart was there when I was in junior high. I would walk through the field.
It used to end, I think, right there at Kmart, where that area is.
Right.
Because
they built Kmart.
Yeah, they built the Motel 6. They built remember there was a Century Theaters they built, and then Best Buy and all that all came later.
When I would cut class in junior high, I would walk right right through like a field
Yep.
to get to Kmart, not
Yep.
to do anything, but like look at stuff that I could never buy.
Yep.
But it was something to do other than go to class.
Or go to
But-
the movies.
Well, that was later.
That was
they
later,
actually
yeah.
built they built the movie theater.
And to
Is the
me,
movie theater? No, the movie theater's not even there anymore.
No,
What?
it's way gone.
what movie theater?
It was Century Theaters. You wouldn't even know. They tore
No,
it
to
down.
me, all this stuff is historic.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well,
Because
listen, my mom bought her house, like my mom and dad bought their house probably in like 1972. She lives in the same house. I go there all the time for like $36,000.
Yeah,
On
that's insane.
Monte Vista Drive, 2 blocks from Ellerhorst.
That's
For a
insane.
4-bedroom house, 2,000 square
Oh
feet,
my-
for
You
$36,000.
could barely buy a car for
Right.
And
And you know, I mean that's been my childhood home. I go there almost every day to go visit.
Wow.
And it's just so surreal that you're just kind of walking into the home that I was raised in.
yeah, that's
But to
crazy.
really see these communities completely build up, and it really is a privilege to raise my own kids here. And to have them go to the same schools, and of course Pinole Valley and Jason and I mean, we go way back from junior high.
Way.
Way
Way back 23 years
not
ago.
that far back. But when we were at Crespi and Pinole Valley High, we had our first job together at Sizzler right in Pinole.
Mm-hmm.
So our roots really run deep here. And so when people ask about it, we're really excited to talk about the community that we live in and that we were raised in, and because it really is a special place, and it's still
It is a special
affordable
place.
in the Bay Area,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Gosh, one of my memories of Pinole is when in 1989 when Batman with Michael Keaton came out, and I went to the theater up in Fitzgerald where now I think that's where the what is the Planet Fitness is, yeah, up there. That's where the theater used to be.
Wow.
And I remember watching Batman in the very front row because it was booked up, sold out. 1989, and it was I went to the theater there and watched that movie, and it was so much fun.
You were 2?
I was 2. I was 2. But 1989, you weren't born yet. Yeah,
But it's just really grown into and it still has a hometown feel, right? You still have
That's what we love about
But there's
it.
just so many great things here now. I mean, with the Trader Joe's and the Sprouts, it's really drawing folks from other areas, and it's a privilege to be able to walk them around and show them.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are like, okay, give me the juice. Like, tell me the bad areas.
I know.
And I'm like, honestly,
I don't think
for
there is
me,
any. Yeah.
kind of isn't.
Yeah.
And Hercules and Pinole are their seedy areas. For me personally, there's not a place that I would feel uncomfortable walking through.
That's
with
a
my
really good
kids.
point, because I think when you guys grew up long time ago,
23 years ago.
times were very different, right? So parents would leave kids home, or you could kind of walk
Very
to the
true.
store and do what you want. And when I grew up, it was a very different experience. I went to middle school at St. Joseph's. Back then, we didn't walk to school. That just wasn't a thing, really.
Yeah.
So, not really. Maybe some kids rode a bike, but even then you were always supervised. But I will say, when I got into my teen years, when I was in high school, I did go to high school out of town. I was a private school kid. My parents tried to get it right on the 4th one, which I think they did a great job. But
I love Pinole Valley.
I never got the chance to go to Pinole Valley, but it's actually beautiful now. We'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that when I was in my teen years, that's when I really got to kind of experience what it was like to be a quote-unquote Pinole kid. I started meeting friends in the community and meeting some of the kids around, and it was cool because my mom really she was never scared to let me go out in Pinole. It wasn't like anybody was ever scared. Times were just different in general.
Yeah.
But when I did, 15, 16, 17, going down to the high school to hang out with my friends, I hung out with the skater kids, and we're teenagers. What else do you do? Going to the movies, she was never scared to let me do those things because, like you said, there's really no bad areas in Pinole. Pinole is very safe. Hercules has always felt very safe. So growing up here when I was a kid was a different experience, but it was always still kind of safe. And it's just the community is it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. What about when you guys, did leave Pinole and finally kind of got away or, had family vacations? Pinole is so convenient, I feel like. We're so centrally located. But what were some things that you guys did growing up? We did a lot of the same things when I was little, but what did you do even before I existed?
Kind of the same thing. We would go to Disneyland a lot. We would, and then just like venture outside of Pinole. What did we do? I don't know.
Well, and I don't know if a lot of people are connecting that you are both brother and sister.
We are brother and
sister. So I think that we need to start there. So Jamie and Jason are brother and sister.
Yeah.
It looks like she's our kid. So in all of our photos, it's like mom, dad, and the kid.
Right.
But it's actually Jason and Jamie are brother and sister. She's the youngest.
She's 19 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Jason and I have been pseudo friends since junior high, but really friends since high school.
Yeah, inseparable since high school. Yeah.
I was born your senior year.
Yep. No, you were born during my graduation.
Mom was pregnant at your graduation.
Mom was pregnant, right? So
I was
you were
born in November after you graduated.
Right.
But you guys were there the day that I was born.
We were at the hospital, sleeping under chairs,
and it
waiting
took
for her.
so long.
It took a long time,
I've
but
been stubborn since day one.
That was a hard floor to lay down on, but we're really a family.
We are.
I mean, Jason is really my. These guys are my brother and sister. And so it's a family team that we have here at Maddox Real Estate. Sometimes we'll get calls, would you be interested in, this particular, real estate agency? And little do folks know that we're so close, and we're really a small family boutique agency here.
Yeah.
So.
And growing up here, I mean, we have true experiences and we can really talk about, being here and growing up, and kind of leading into the next question, I think. What are some of the frequent weekend destinations as a kid outside of the Pinole area? Wait, did you just say that?
Yeah, I did.
You just asked that.
That's all right.
Okay,
You've had a lot of wine.
Keep pouring the wine.
I've had a lot of wine.
Okay,
So mine was Great America. Now, this was before...
Oh my God, I remember Great America.
Okay, hang on a second.
It's still there.
Is it still there?
It is still there, but this
Okay.
was before we had Six Flags in Vallejo.
Back in my day.
Well, Six Flags used to be in Redwood City.
Yes.
Because I remember as a kid, I remember them busing.
It was
I remember
called
them
Marine
busing.
World.
It was Marine World Africa USA.
Yes!
Remember
But
that?
wasn't it Marine World when it moved to Vallejo still?
Maybe.
Maybe they changed the names.
But I remember as a kid, it was on the news. They were trucking over whales in humongous tanks to get over.
PETA would
it was.
not be
I remember
okay.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that.
So, but it was Great America, and there was the Demon, right? So there was that Demon roller coaster, and that was the place. Like
the Revolution.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That place would get me so excited. Now it was a bit of a drive because it's still there, so it's still like an hour
It's
away.
an hour. That's where
It's not like 15 minutes to get to Six Flags
Well, that's
anymore.
where Levi's Stadium is now, where the Niners play.
Oh, okay. So I have no
same
idea.
same parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as a kid, that was kind of, that was really the place.
I mean, it's so weird. I've forgotten about Great America. Like that's a really cool place to kind of spend the weekend.
And
or
it's
something.
still there. I haven't been in
still there.
Many
years.
Went.
Years. I don't remember. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah. So for me, that was the big deal. That was like, please, Mom, I'll clean the kitchen. I'll do anything you want. But all of my friends are going to Great America.
Yeah. I was more Marine World. I still call it Marine World, even though it's Six Flags Discovery Kingdom now. I still call it Marine World. That was my kind of local fun that wasn't too far, but still, it was still a big trip. Like you had to plan for the day like you're going to Disneyland or something. We also took a lot of trips down to Disneyland, like a 6-hour.
We took a lot of trips.
A lot of trips. My goodness, we're a Disney family. But
a lot of different reasons.
A lot of different reasons.
I remember one in particular.
When we had to go.
We had to go get our brother.
So, for everybody that doesn't know the family dynamic, Jason and I do real estate together, but we are 2 of 4 siblings total. We have another brother, Joey, who does a lot of our media for us. He does our...
He's filming right now.
He's filming right now.
And
he's standing
really
over
great.
here.
He's really great, by the way, with Matterport, 3D tours, photography. If anybody needs, real estate photography.
Yeah. So, it really is a family business all the way around. He does our Matterport tours for us, which is the 3D virtual tours that you see online. He excels at that. He helps us with a lot of our videos and kind of behind the scenes work as well. But there is one story in particular, just to kind of throw something fun out there where Joey might have lied to our parents and said that he was going on a class trip to LA.
Yep.
But he actually drove with his friends and did not fly and was actually not even a part of the class that
Wait,
was
I think
going.
it was supposed to be
It was a senior class trip, and he was a junior.
Yeah, he was a junior.
But
That's
he
right.
had all his friends convince our mother that...
Just Cameron.
Oh, just Cameron. That's why she hates him to this day.
That's right.
Convince our mom that he was the lucky chosen junior that was going on this trip with them. And Joey, being Joey at the time, didn't think to call her an hour or two after he left. He called her 6 or 7 hours after they had driven all the way there to say, hey, we just arrived. After he told her that he flew there, and she gets a call right after from Cameron's dad saying, hey, just to let you know, the kids just arrived. They said they had a good drive. And my mom was like, what?
She flipped out. She's
What
like,
do you
drive?
drove? Like, what do you... And my mom has always been pretty lenient as a mother. She's super cool. She's very chill about things, but there's certain things that she is just really precautious about, and driving is one of them.
Yeah.
She does not think that teenagers should be driving, especially 6 or 7 hours to Disneyland. So my mom, shout out Debbie, my mom being the mom that she is, picked us up from school. Jason was older. Picked us up from school.
So she calls me and she says, we are going to get Joey. So
Pack a bag.
pack a bag. So I call Katrina and I go, hey Katrina, do you want to go to LA? She's like, hell yeah, let's do it. I go, like, we're going to get Joey. So he's in trouble. So we're going to go pick Joey. So we pack bags. She's little. My mom literally packs a bird that she's feeding in the car with
and it's losing its feathers.
No. It was just born.
It was just born.
Another thing about my mom is that she always has had animals, and one thing that she was really into was birds. So she had these baby birds that she was hand feeding with little droppers. She had to feed them like every hour.
Yeah.
These tiny little featherless birds. And she packs up the bird. She comes and picks me up from school. Julie came too, or
no? It was just us three.
I think it was just I was little. Yeah. My sister is kind of in the middle, so she didn't go, but she picks us up from school. She's like, I've got our bags packed. We're going to Disneyland. Now I'm a kid. I'm like, sweet, we're going to Disneyland. Like, how fun is this? She just picked me up from school. Meanwhile, I didn't know she had an ulterior motive. Our dad, by the way,
never
found this story out. I still don't even know if he knows this.
Probably not.
Because he didn't want to get, or my mom didn't. She is, as much as she was upset with Joey, she also didn't want to get him in trouble.
Yeah.
She's very defensive of her children. So we go down to Disneyland, 6 hours. We're stopping every hour on the way, getting hot water from whatever McDonald's or Burger King is on the way. It was
so much fun.
Feeding this bird in the bathroom. Just a hot mess. And we show up to LA. She knocks on Joey's door.
Hotel door. Did I?
Jason did.
Oh, wow.
Knocks on Joey's hotel door. He answers the door and he's just like, oh,
his
crap.
jaws dropped. He's like, what? And I don't even know.
I
don't even remember what happened after that.
You're coming with us.
But we ended up going to Disneyland and having a great time,
We went to Disneyland. We had a great time as a family, but Joey was in trouble the whole time. So
and he had to drive home with us. Cameron had to drive home separate, right? Yeah. But it was just fun. It was fun. It was fun when Joey would get in trouble because we'd always... It
was an excuse to go somewhere. It was an excuse,
yeah. We'd go have to...
And that just shows how much Katrina was involved in our family. I mean, she was quite literally the fifth kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was always involved in everything.
Remember when I tried stealing your mom's car?
Yes.
Okay.
We tried taking my mom's station wagon and Katrina drove, and we got to the end of the court and my mom runs out and she's like, stops us.
How old were you?
I was like 16 maybe?
I think we're probably
15 or something.
15, 16, I don't remember.
Anyway, we go way, way back.
Way back. So that was a fun time.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting in trouble, Joe, because we had a lot of fun.
That was great at Disneyland. But this is what really keeps us here in this area is it's family ties, it's root in the community, these roots that we have that run deep, and really an appreciation for Pinole Hercules. I mean, watching Hercules grow from nothing to everything in just a few years. Yeah. Like literally just from fields. Like I said, my mom and dad were talking like, gosh, this place is growing, so quick. They're building so quickly here. And now it's where I live. I live in Hercules, but we're sister cities, like Jamie said. So, we just come back and forth.
We're right next door.
We're just on the border.
And that's the thing, too, as I say, Pinole really is my bubble. I was born here, raised here. I will probably live here until my dying breath because I just could never justify a reason to leave.
Yeah.
There's really no reason for me to leave. I mean, what am I going to do? If I were to sell or move, I'm going to be moving and trying to get a house somewhere probably across a bridge, right? The next affordable places. We bought at a really good time. We're going to stay here, but you're never going to find anywhere that's more convenient. I mean, 20, 30 minutes from San Francisco, Napa, Walnut Creek, like you said, anywhere really around us. You're not going to find anywhere more convenient or just more community oriented. I know I was talking to owners of East Bay Coffee. They moved here and they're not from here. They've moved around like 10 different times to different states and cities, and they really settled down and opened their business in Pinole. And they were saying they've never found anywhere that was more kept better historical records of the city. That's another big thing too, is that Pinole really just cares about its city, and its history is so rich and so well kept, and I think that really shows. And anybody moving here, it's really hard to not fall in love with it.
Well, and the streets are actually named by the kids that used to roam around here.
If you take a minute to kind of learn the history, it is really super cool, and you don't find that with a lot of cities. I mean, it's hard to kind of dive in and find really good historical records. I remember it was it the Faria house that was sitting up where the Kaiser is now? Yeah. It was. I think it was the Faria house.
And I met a Faria. She actually came by our office.
Well, he's still a realtor to this day. One of the Frias, right?
I don't know if they're a realtor. I met them.
No, he's a realtor.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
no, to this day. And now where the Kaiser is, again, you have a doctor right here in town. But where the Kaiser is, they actually moved that home, and now it's the Pinole Historical Society.
Where does that move to?
It's moved right up the street in San Pablo Avenue, right up here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's now the Pinole Historical Society, where they have all the records. I mean, you can buy books about the history of Pinole, and it's such a small little town in a sense, but it's just so rich in its culture and its history and its community. And I think that's what really keeps us here. I mean, how can you help but love it?
Yeah. So anyway, do we want to, I think we pretty much covered everything here.
I think, I think the purpose of this was just to kind of tell people why we love Pinole so much, why we are so dedicated to staying here and keeping our business centered here. Yeah. Now, do we go, I always say our area of expertise is really the whole Bay Area. If you've lived in the Bay Area, you know all of it, and you can go anywhere.
It's a fantastic place to live.
But
it really
where we center ourselves in our business is, Pinole, Hercules, kind of surrounding areas.
El Sobrani.
Because that's where we grew up. That's where we are super familiar with. And
our office is here, and it's here because we love this community so much,
Yeah, it is. I think we truly love it just so much.
So anyway, I think we're...
I think that kind of wraps up our Pinole episode, but... Super excited, you guys. This was our second episode. We got through it. We did really great.
We're doing good. We're moving on to some great things.
I know. I can't wait for future episodes. And
we're going to invite some people over and have fun talking about stuff. And I love chatting. So this is great. And getting to know us on a very raw, unfiltered basis,
Yeah, and it's just an extra way that we can kind of immerse ourselves in our community. I mean, I think we're pretty well known in the community anyway. Yeah. But just
and then not just this community, but I mean, San Pablo, you were born in San Pablo, Oakland. Right. I mean, from the Carquinez Bridge, I do a lot of business also in Vallejo, and have many memories of Vallejo. So really from Vallejo to San Francisco, I mean, this whole 80 up to Walnut Creek, this whole corridor is kind of our turf. I mean, it's just a place that we know really well. I mean, how many birthdays has everybody had at Fenton's, right?
Oh my God, yes.
So,
oh my God.
I mean, we just...
super duper.
That's the other thing too, right? The Bay Area is a special place. Pixar is located here, and look how many movies
Pixar is here
based off of just things in our community. I think that really shows just how special it is.
It's a special place.
It really is.
The Bay Area is a special place.
Yeah.
So let's end with that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Empty glass.
Thank you for listening to the Maddox Podcast. Thank you to our producer, Sam Lubman of Painless Podcasts, for helping make this podcast possible. We started this podcast so we could share our real estate insights, as well as provide our listeners with a chance to get to know the Maddox team. Our goal is to make our clients' real estate sale or purchase as simple as possible, allowing them to sit back while we handle the hard work. To learn more about what we do or to look up resources about the Bay Area communities, visit our website at maddoxrealestate.com or give us a call at 510-993-0688.